So dear students, today we are going to study about cloud computing. So basically in this we are going to study what is cloud computing, cloud providers, cloud computing architecture, virtualization concept and its types of cloud computing and its features, benefits, challenges and future opportunities. And with this I'm going to share you some practical links that you can use for doing the different practicals based on this Amazon Web Services cloud computing. So first of all, see what is the definition of cloud computing. So basically, whichever that storage, database, networking, server, software, some intelligence that we are going to access over the internet for offering faster innovation, and with that it is providing us flexible resources and economies of scale. So that is basically called as the cloud computing. So these are the top 10 cloud providers are there: Amazon Web Services, Azure Cloud, Google Cloud Platform, Alibaba Cloud, Oracle, IBM Cloud, Kindred, Tencent Cloud and OVH Cloud. So mainly out of these 10, AWS, Azure and Google Cloud Platform are the top 3 cloud providers. So this is the cloud computing architecture. So basically at cloud side, different servers, virtual desktop, software platform, applications, storage data, these are there that we are using for access or over the internet for our different applications. And at user side, mobile, laptop and printer will be considered for interfacing, or you can say we are connecting our system through internet with the cloud architecture. So these are the different regions and availability zones in cloud computing are there. So here for maintaining, what is the purpose of maintaining these many regions? It ensures reliability and customers are supported across the world because of these different regions. And these availability zones are there. These availability zones are physically separate locations, but they are connected by high performance network within each region that can tolerate local failures. Suppose according to the user requirement, he or she going to select availability zone 1, but at the same time, this availability zone 2, 3 and 1 are interconnected. Though user is working with availability zone 1, whichever data is there, that is also stored on zone 2 and zone 3 also, because in case of some failures, if zone 1 is not working, in that applications, user can access the same data from zone 2 or zone 3 also. Next is virtualization. Basically, virtualization is the ability to run multiple operating systems on a single physical system and share the underlying hardware resources. So which allows you to share a single physical instance of resource or an application among multiple customers and organizations. Suppose in one organization that different employers want to use the same system, same hardware for their different applications. It is possible by using virtualization. The software which is used for virtualization, that is called as the operating system, that hypervisor software is there. So basically here in this left side, type 1 hypervisor is there. So basically we are doing here we are doing virtualization of hardware. And at right side, that operating system virtualization we are doing. So that can be accessed by the different employers from that company. So this is the difference between type 1 hypervisor and type 2 hypervisor. So basically type 1 is bare metal and here type 2 is hosted. Type 1 hypervisor can run directly on the system with virtual machines running on them. And here in type 2, it runs on a conventional operating system. So type 1 is coming for hardware virtualization, type 2 is there for operating system virtualization. So here guest operating system and application are running on the hypervisor. Here runs as an application on the operating system. So type 1 hypervisor providing us better scalability, but here in type 2 that is not so much because of its reliance on the underlying operating system is there. That's why it is not having better scalability. So type 1 is very, if we compare with type 2, it is a simple, but compared to type 1, type 2 is lot simpler than the type 1. So type 1 has direct access to hardware along with virtual machines it hosts, and type 2 are not allowed to directly access the host hardware and its resources. So basically type 1 hypervisor has high performance and comparatively it is having reduced performance in type 2. So type 1 is more secure and type 2 is less secure. So these are some examples of type 1 hypervisor: VMware, ESXi, Microsoft Hyper-V, Citrix, Zen Server, And in type 2, VMware, Microsoft and Sun VirtualBox, these are some examples of this type 2 hypervisor. So here we are just enlisting that different types of hypervisors. So whenever that hardware virtualization is there, it is called as the type 1 hypervisor. Operating system virtualization, type 2 hypervisor. Server virtualization, it is type 2. And when we are doing virtualization of storage, it is coming under the category of type 1 hypervisor. So when we compare cloud with virtualization, so basically cloud provides automated management, scalability, self-serving is there, pay as you go. So as per our requirement, if we want to increase or decrease the machines, so that is also possible in cloud. So whichever that management is there, automatic management system is there. So self-serving facility is there. As per user's requirement, we can do modifications and we can give that support to the customers. In virtualization, it is by doing virtualization, it is possible to use the server effectively. Then server maintenance is also becomes easy if we are using virtualization. And here that physical infrastructure is separate. We can separately use the infrastructure with the employees of that particular organization or particular company, you can say. And here by using this virtualization, cost saving is possible. So when we compare this cloud with virtualization, they are interdependent but not interchangeable. That means we can't exchange or we can't interchange cloud and virtualization. So but they are interdependent. So these are the types of cloud computing. So based on deployment, there are three types of the cloud computing. One is called as a private, second is public, and third one is hybrid. And based on service model, it is having infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. So IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS, these are the types of the cloud computing. So let us consider the example of this for this private cloud computing. So suppose you are the owner of any flat or any bungalow, you are only the person who is having the keys or access to that flat. So that is coming under this category of private cloud computing. In public cloud computing, consider the example of local trains or bus facilities there. So everybody is having access to that bus. So that is coming under this category of public cloud computing. In hybrid cloud computing, you can consider the school bus of any private college. So in that, it is having the access. Students from 4th standard or 8th standard or 10th standard, anybody has the access to that bus. That is coming under this category of hybrid cloud computing. So next is the infrastructure as a service, PaaS and SaaS. So these are some examples. So basically software as a service. So Office 365, Salesforce and Gmail are the best example of this. SaaS, here we are using software as a service. In developers, we are using PaaS, that is platform as a service. So basically whichever that platform is there, that we are using. So from the cloud side, so that basically who are the developers are there, they are using that platform for developing the code. Next is their infrastructure as a service. So total cloud, so that may be Microsoft Azure or Amazon Web Services there. So that is coming under this category of IaaS. So suppose we are using the IaaS, that is infrastructure as a service from the cloud, then the things shown here in orange that we need to manage, and the things shown here in gray color that cloud provider will manage all the things. So suppose we are going with the IaaS, then in that case, we need to manage application, data, runtime, errors are there, any middleware software is required. So what is middleware? So to connecting our system with the cloud, sometimes we require middleware software there, so that they are coming under this category of middleware and operating system. So all these things we need to manage. Suppose we are using platform as a service, then application and data we need to manage. Remaining all things, runtime, middleware, operating system, virtualization, servers, storage, networking, that cloud provider will manage all the things. In software as a service, all things are managed by the cloud provider. So these are the different deployment models. So basically private, hybrid and public. So top vendors in private cloud computing are HPE, VMware, Dell, EMC, IBM, Red Hat, Microsoft, OpenStack. And in hybrid, some top vendors are there. So basically combination of both public and private cloud providers, that is done here in this hybrid. In public, Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure and Google Cloud Platform. These are the examples of these public cloud providers. So what are the potential benefits prompted companies to start using cloud computing? So basically by using this cloud computing, whichever that code deployment was there, that becomes faster compared to previous methods. So outsourcing of IT operations is possible. So whichever different applications are there, different problems are there related to IT operations. So now it is possible to do outsourcing or provide the solution as per user's requirement by using cloud computing. So as on-demand capacity is there, so how much we are using, that much we are providing to the customer and that much we are paying to the cloud provider. Desire to lower data center costs. So here, whichever the data centers are there that we can access from the cloud providers. So there is no need to spend money on that at our side. So cloud will take care of all the things. Moving capital expenditure to operating expenditure. So basically CapEx means capital expenditure. So before starting any company, we need to take care of the building. After that, whichever that infrastructure is there, again that furniture and all that things are there. So whichever that first or initial amount we need to expend, that is coming under this category of capital expenditure. Now it is possible by using cloud because cloud is taking care of all these things. So there is no need to invest on capital expenditure and just we need to take care of only that operating expenditure, that light bills are there, rents are there, salaries are there. So that is the operating expenditure. Cost saving on in-house staff. So due to cloud, whichever that you can say that quantity or you can say number of staff is also reduced. So there is cost saving possible. Additional security layer with our system, cloud computing is also providing another security layer. So that is possible using this cloud computing. And with this, day by day, lots of innovations are there in cloud computing, which are providing us more benefits in doing these different applications. So these are some challenges involved with cloud computing. In that security concerns are there. So with our system, cloud is also providing a security layer. So sometimes it is possible that cloud has access to our data also. That is one problem related to security. Vendor login problems are there. Suppose firstly, I'm working with GCP, that is Google Cloud Platform. But after some time, I want to shift to Amazon Web Services. In that case, sometimes it is not possible that our system, which is working on GCP, is compatible with AWS. So there we need to do some modifications as per requirement. Compliance is there. So as per different countries, we are considering here that countries are having data. Suppose the data is army related data is there. In that, whichever that rules are there set by the different countries, that must be followed, that must be obeyed by that particular cloud provider. Then it will be good. Otherwise, that data will not be secure. So all these rules must be followed by these cloud providers. So that is one challenge. Integration with in-house systems, overall cost. So whichever our system is there and cloud system is there, they must be compatible or sometime we need to do some modifications. Then only we can use that system effectively. So overall cost. So for which application we want to use the cloud, that first of all we need to decide and accordingly we can determine the cost. And if we are using the cloud and sometime after 2 hours my task is completed, then that termination, logout, that care should be taken by that particular programmer or by that particular owner of that company. Otherwise, that cost will increase. Return on investment. So whichever that investment we are doing there, as we pay as you go facilities provided by the cloud provider. So whichever investment we want to do, accordingly we need to do the agreement and based on that only we need to pay to the cloud provider. Lack of expertise to manage cloud deployment. So the person who is working on the cloud, he or she must have that training so that he can properly manage that cloud or cloud related services. So overall performance. So whichever that performance is there. So first of all, we need to decide what is my task, what is my application, and accordingly we need to use the cloud. Otherwise, we need to pay here more. If we have used, suppose sometimes requirement is not there, but we forgot to terminate or log out the device, then also that we need to pay more than that. So reliability is there. So reliability concerns. So that should be there. That whichever that cloud is there, that should be reliable. Then vendor customer service are there. So suppose our customers are having some problem, then in that case we need to again communicate with cloud providers. Then they will give the solution and then only we can able to respond to our customer. Lack of transparency is there. So with what is there at backend at cloud side, it is not possible to see that. So that's why we can say that it is having lack of transparency. And here with our system security, cloud is also having that control. So we can say loss of control is possible in cloud computing. So these are some future opportunities in cloud computing. So we need to work on this, increase storage capacity. So whichever that storage is there, that should be increased so that we can use it for our different applications. Enhance the performance of internet. So whichever things are there from cloud side, we are using over the internet only. So whichever that internet performance is there, that should be enhanced. IoT along with cloud computing. So we can interface IoT with cloud computing so that whichever that results are there, that will be there available on cloud, and any user who is having that credentials can use the data from the cloud. And here security concerns are very important. Modular software should be there. So suppose I'm using this software, now I want to go for different applications, so that modifications must be possible in that software. Otherwise, for every application, we need to take another software, and that will not be cost effective. So economic, so whichever that services should be there, that should be at affordable price. Improvement in cloud services, so whichever different services are there, day by day that increment according to the user's requirement, that improvement should be there. Data shows how future changes. So whichever that data we are using, if we are using machine learning, deep learning, so that data can be used in that particular application so that machines from that inputs can learn and generate the results here. So that is also one requirement. Modular software will be a priority because as per requirement, again and again, if we need to use another software, so that will not be cost effective and it will not be economic. So in that case, that modular software point is very important. So whichever the softwares are there, that should be modular. That is the one requirement, or you can say future area is there where we can work on this cloud computing. So these are some future opportunities on which we work related to cloud. So these are some practical links I'm providing you. So EC2, that Elastic Cloud Computing is there. So in that this link, that how to perform that practical, that is explained here in this link. So different services are there. Simple storage service at S3. So that link is also provided here. Load balancer is there. So in that application, network and classic, that basic use for EC2. So that load balancing practical is explained in this link. Auto scaling practical is also explained in this link. So you can just click on that link and you can see the different steps involved in performing this practical. So thank you.